Hey YouTube, you have Leonard here, bringing guys and gals Kanojo Okurishimasu, Rent a Girlfriend Chapter 220, the review portion. Now everyone, I'm not gonna lie, I just finished a chapter, and all I gotta say is that I truly do hate Mami. Great character, good for the story, she keeps things moving, MVP, but quite frankly, Mami's a despicable person. Mommy's despicable. If you have any inkling that she's doing this for pure motives, I don't know what you're reading at this point. I truly don't. And maybe, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. So if you love Mommy and you think that this is for pure purposes, I question that. And I'd love to entertain a dialogue on it. Because to me, everything that she is doing screams spiteful and wanting to ruin things. And we said this last chapter, that Mami was going to nuke things with the rental situation for Chizuru and expose her. We said she was going to expose her. And it happened right this chapter, but she did it in the worst way possible. I thought she'd go to social media or something like that, and then they'd find out. But she dropped... Start from the beginning, everyone. So in this chapter, what we end up seeing is a situation where Chizuru is trying to play nice with Mami. Mami appears in this chapter, and Kazuya is very contemplative. He's reflecting on everything that's taking place right now. Kazuya's of the mindset where it's just like, how could I break in all these rules with regards to the rental agreement? Of course Chizuru reacted the way that she did. Of course Chizuru doesn't really care about me. Of course Chizuru this. He's trying to rationalize everything in his mind as to it being his fault. And he should be happy the fact that Chizuru, despite all the things that he has done, he believes, is still acting professional, still pretending to be his girlfriend, still caring about their agreement. And that's where Kazuya starts off. But again, when we go through this chapter, and there's not much really in the beginning parts of the chapter. In my opinion, there's a lot of fluff. It's just Kazuya thinking about these things, showing interaction between Kibe, Kuri, Ruka, Chizuru, and then Mami comes in. And then Chizuru and Mami are seemingly playing nice and having a good time. And he looks at them. He looks at Mami. Chizuru's like, oh good, there was nothing wrong. He can't see underneath the layer of evil that is Mami and like what's happening. Again, can you blame him? No. There's no way for him to know what's happening behind the scenes. But again, it goes back to... It just goes back to the lack of communication between Chizuru and Kazuya, that he wasn't aware of what's happening to some degree. But where everything changes, I'm just going to read the dialogue again, guys. He's standing there and he's looking at Mami, he's looking at Chizuru, he's looking at Ruka, and he says here, when in your life, did you ever imagine you'd be surrounded by 3 gorgeous women? Even in a situation like this, Mizuhara's doing a flawless job of playing my girlfriend. Grandma and Kibe don't seem to have a clue. This is a red flag that he mentions this. What happens in paradise stays in paradise. So ends my days of renting girlfriends. Second red flag. And now the biggest red flag. At the very least, and Kazuya is resolute as he says this, maybe I can make my final memory be a positive one. It's the definition of when almost someone says, what else could possibly go wrong and that things will 100% get worse. Him wishing for a positive resolution is a signal that something bad is about to happen. We see him smiling. We see Chizuru smiling. And then, of course, Mami drops the bombshell. So here we go. I'm looking at the chapter right now. And what ends up happening is that Mami drops her phone on the ground. Now, when I'm initially reacting to this, and I still have Twitch chat over here, they'll tell you, I was confused. I didn't know exactly what was happening here because I was like, did she accidentally drop her phone? Is now going to find something that incriminates Mami? But then I go back and I'm like, no. She looked at her phone and she goes into Mami mode. Cold, you don't see her eyes. She conveniently drops her phone. And then all of a sudden, Nagomi, shocked. Mother, shocked. Father, shocked. And now Ruka looks at the phone and she's shocked, but not in the same way they are. She looks almost like, oh no, like flustered. Kibe looks at the phone. What? Kuri looks at the phone, flustered, because he knows like what's happening. Chizuru sees the phone, and this is probably the thumbnail for the video, completely devastated and shocked and embarrassed. Mami literally leaves the site to Chizuru's rent-a-girlfriend page, open on her phone, intentionally drops it for all to see, and this is how, unfortunately, the reveal comes to everybody, Nagomi and the whole crew, that she is a rental girlfriend. And then they'll start making the connections, of course, with regards to Kazuya. Worst part about it is that I feel so bad. Like, this chapter really makes me, I'm really upset by this chapter. Not, let me rephrase this. I'm not upset with the chapter. This is a great chapter. I'm really upset with the events that have taken place because I care about Chizuru and I care about Kazuya. And I really, Mami's some trash. Some complete, absolute garbage. Nagomi, broken by what she sees. Chizuru shocked and afraid and stares at Kazuya, and Kazuya has no idea what's happening and is starting to like maybe piece two and two together. And then all you see is the phone. Chizuru, Mizu, Hada, shock face, and then Mami over here just walking back. Guys, if something, I'm seeing RIP Nagomi in chat. If something happens to Nagomi because of this, where she has like a heart, if she found out through them telling her, I truly believe things would have been different. But her finding out like this, knowing something maybe could have been up, but then to see this page and put all this together, this is shocking. We know her health isn't good. If something happens to Nagomi, I don't even know. Chizuru and Kazuya at the end of the day are to blame because they let this drag out everybody for too long. They took too long and did nothing about everything. They just simply were just like, well, we'll keep pushing it off. What we're going to do is, and maybe we'll wait. You guys should have just immediately come clean much earlier than this trip, by the way. But even on this trip, you had ample time to come together and try to figure something out, and you didn't. And this is the consequence of it. And as I said last chapter, whatever deal that Mami had with Chizuru, it wasn't out of any good in trying to spare them. Mami literally wanted Chizuru to fall and to be hurt in the worst way possible because Chizuru defied her. And that's why she did this. She never had any intentions of peace. She never had any intention of doing anything good to Chizuru. She never cared about Kazuya's family. She ripped his whole family. She doesn't care about them. She wants to see this thing just burn. She wants everything to burn. Why does she want everything to burn? She doesn't care for love. And on top of that, the biggest slap to her face is the fact that she doesn't believe in love, and then you have a fake relationship between Chizuru and Kazuya, and they're happy, and there's the prospects becoming a real relationship. Mami wants nothing of that. And part of her is also jealous, I believe, of Chizuru. But this was rough. This chapter is absolutely just rough. So those are my thoughts, everybody. Once again, this is a quick one. There's not much that happens here. I think the big question as I look at everything that is taking place is, where do we go from here? We knew we had to get to this point, and this was probably for Kazuya and Chizuru the absolute worst way to get to this point. Let's try to be positive as well. Things are out in the open now. What is going to take place? What are the paths we can take in the story? Nagomi could potentially have a heart attack. That would be one of the worst case scenarios. The family confronts Chizuru. Maybe Chizuru runs away. Maybe Chizuru stands there and tries to talk to them, and Kazuya tries to speak as well. Maybe they disown Kazuya. There's so many things. Maybe Ruka and Kuri try to speak up on behalf of the two of them. Also a possibility. The bottom line is, though, if we go back to last chapter, I'm going to do it very quickly, actually, everybody, if you don't mind. If you go back to last chapter, just because I want to read that dialogue one more time from the end of chapter 219, I have it here. Remember what future Kazuya had said. He said, on November 24th at 3:37 p.m., a mere 2 hours from that moment, before we'd ever reach Tokyo Station, so again, referring to this moment we just saw, my lie-infested girlfriend renting life would come to an end. So we thought there was a positive scenario, there was a negative scenario. This didn't indeed go the negative scenario route, where of course the lie was revealed, and as a result, the two of them, this whole entire arrangement is coming to an end. So it makes you think, what are we going to see going forward now? And again, what I'm expecting is for the family to be shocked. Now going to be something might happen to her, but assuming that doesn't, they're going to confront Chizuru. And just because the way this manga seems to work, I see a situation where Chizuru, out of embarrassment and frustration, especially if they start to attack her, she doesn't know how to process. She breaks down, and maybe she gets out of there. Maybe she gets out of there. Maybe she runs off. Kazuya has to go after her, or maybe Kazuya stands his ground and speaks up on behalf of Chizuru. I would love for that to happen. I don't know if it will necessarily, because he's going to be processing everything as well. If you think you have a bad run to girlfriend, he's... Does Reiji really do that? Dang. Dang, Deiji. Oh, boy. But yeah, everybody, those are my thoughts on this chapter. Again, a very, very good one. Just looking at chat quickly. Worst case scenario, again, is now going to be goes to the hospital. That's the worst case scenario. I don't think, though, that this is the end, of course. Chizuru and Kazuya are going to find a way to come out of this. They'll be stronger for it. The question is, does Eiji want to bring this to an abrupt end where they confront everything right now? Or does Chizuru and Kazuya run away and break things off? At least for a time. And then we get into like a really like just negative arc. That is also a possibility, and this gets extended. But let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. I've talked enough. Check out my live reaction per the usual on Twitch, where I do all my live reactions. You can find it there. Yeah, comment in the comment section once again. I'm very curious to see what your thoughts are about this chapter. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe. And with that, I'm going to end it here. I'm Leonard, and I'm out. Take care, everybody. Peace.